Disclaimer: the following video that you're about to view only contains audio only as it's from a wrestling internet radio show. If you are looking for wrestling video footage, you will not find that on this video. This wrestling radio show may contain strong language that may be offensive to those under the age of 18. If you are under the age of 18, please get permission to listen to this episode. Enjoy, comment, and subscribe.
Live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., you're listening to Impact Showdown with your host, Lee Sanders.
And what's up, everybody? Good to be back with you all. Black Avenger, a.k.a. the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders of the Impact Showdown Radio. Hey, we are joining Impact Wrestling live in progress right now, where the main event was Bobby Roode taking on Austin Aries in a singles match. But we are seeing in the last few seconds of this bout the charismatic enigma Jeff Hardy coming in, cleaning house, and he is sizing up Bobby Roode right now. Just hit the twist of fate. Bobby Roode favoring his back and his groin area, though, as he's kind of limping, but he has enough time to take off his T-shirt and flex that little pose that he always does. Jeff Hardy standing victorious. He was actually at ringside amongst the TNA Impact fans looking on at this match, as we just saw the end to a very good episode, last episode that is, of TNA Impact Wrestling for the year 2012, as now we are onward to 2013. That's going to be coming in just a handful of days. What's up, guys and gals? Feel free to jump on in the chat room. We got it loaded up right now. It is at blogtalkradio.com. While you're at it, take the time out to interact with us on Twitter at Infinity1Prod, Facebook at Infinity1 Productions. We had made so much noise as we were not on the air the past couple of days, as we had so many people, and it's amazing. You say you're not going to open up the phone lines on a regular basis, and we got different types of people, men, women, young, kind of old, that were all just kicking back, and they were letting their voices be heard, letting us know, hey, what's going on with the phone lines? Why aren't you? We're going to make sure that we talk about that, just in case you guys weren't able to check out the exclusive YouTube video, as we actually got a couple of things that's going to be in store for 2013, as well as a couple of major announcements, just in case you might have missed it. It's okay. We'll get you guys caught up, let you know what's happening. But first things first, I want to talk about what happened on Impact Wrestling tonight. This was the final episode of Impact for 2012, and very solid episode, I must admit. Despite the fact that it seemed like kind of early on there, we really were not getting that many matches. It seemed like it was mainly about pushing key storylines, and I'm all for that, especially if you're trying to set up the first episode of Impact Live of 2013. Of course, the very obvious one, we got to pick right up where we left off from Impact Wrestling last Thursday night. As remember, in those final 90 seconds of the show, we saw Hulk Hogan getting ready to hop into his hot rod, and he just so happened to turn around, and there he saw his daughter just throwing that tongue all down the throat of Bully Ray. Hogan leaving the arena pissed off. Of course, we had to kick off with that. Honestly, for me, I thought it was great booking on TNA's part as far as the segments went tonight. I thought it was great picking it up with that, as it's the cliffhanger of what a lot of people have remembered from last Thursday night, We see Bully Ray. He comes on now, and he realizes that tonight is open fight night, and they are supposed to be calling out whoever they want to call out to fight. Hulk Hogan, though, he has, Bully Ray, he has something else planned in mind as he calls out the Hulkster, but he's not calling him out for a fight. He just wants to kick back. He just wants to have a conversation with him. We hear the music of the Hulkster play, but Hogan nowhere to be seen. What's going on? Well, we see Brooke Hogan come out, and Brooke informs Bully Ray that somehow Daddy knows. That's right, Hogan knows best, knows about them. Bully Ray, he's like, knows about what? There isn't anything to know. What are you talking about? We see Bully Ray kind of denying it there, but Brooke Hogan, she's really stressing it to Bully Ray, a.k.a. Mark, that, hey, Hogan, he knows, Big Daddy knows about us. And at this point, they are just more concerned about trying to find the Hulkster. And, you know, it should be noted, we actually did not get an appearance from Hogan on this episode. There's actually quite a few people that was missing from tonight's episode, but Hogan was, without a doubt, one of them. And I was very curious how that segment was going to play out with the three of them, but we never did get another follow-up on that. But it was nice to still see that storyline get pushed there. All right, and immediately after that, we also saw Austin Aries come out, and he actually sent a challenge to Bobby Roode. As far as Aries is concerned, okay, Bobby Roode, hey, you know what? Hey, let the truth be told, Bobby Roode, you had screwed me out of my opportunity to get back the TNA World Heavyweight Championship against Jeff Hardy last week. You're getting payback from what I did to you in your match against Jeff Hardy at the Final Resolution pay-per-view. Okay, we're now tied one apiece, but you know what? We need to squash this once and for all. Better man needs to come away from this. But, you know, Bobby Roode, I don't want this match to happen right now. No, folks. We actually saw Austin Aries say, this is a pretty big, main, important match. Let's do this at the end of the night. Let this be the final match for TNA this calendar year. I want you one-on-one main event tonight. Bobby Roode would later come on in a backstage segment talking about how he does accept the challenge and he's looking forward to taking on Austin Aries and thinks it's really a perfect setup for him to go eventually into a match with Jeff Hardy. And for those of you that were kind of wondering here, okay, well, are these two guys fighting it out for a number one contender spot? What's going on right here? These two guys were just taking each other on. There's really nothing at stake right here. Funny moment of the night, and I thought this was really hysterical. Of all the times I've seen Impact Wrestling over the years, I thought this was a pretty hilarious segment. We saw Big Robbie and Robbie E in a dance-off. And I must admit, I was a little bit disappointed when I saw this segment because initially I was actually expecting a wrestling match. I'm saying to myself, it's about damn time we're going to see the original Robbie take on Robbie 2.0. I mean, come on, he's a blatant ripoff, and Robbie E cutting a very solid promo on Jesse, really hitting all those key points, saying he's nothing more than a ripoff of the original. And it was really funny how this dance-off had came about. Again, I thought it was going to be a match, and that's what I was expecting. That's what a lot of people were expecting. But we see Robbie E. He challenges Jesse to a bro-off dance-off, and basically some pretty hysterical stuff right here. We see Robbie E. He starts doing these silly dances, got the techno music going, just everything, whole 9 yards. Silly moment right here. We see Jesse. It's his turn now. He doesn't take that page out of Robbie's playbook. Instead, he hits the muscle poses, flexing his good physique, doing pretty good. Actually got Tara involved. Did a couple of push-ups with her. Nice, good stuff right there. But we see Robbie E. eliminate Jesse, telling him it's bros, not hoes, as he got Tara involved. And that is exactly how Robbie E. described Terra. Those are not my words, so don't get it twisted. All right, and we see Robbie E. is getting ready to proclaim himself the winner, but of all the people to get involved in this disturbing segment, Big Rob Terry actually wanted to take part in this event, and we see him just shockingly pick up the victory. I was a little bit stunned at some of the things that he was able to do. I didn't know for such a big man. He was very flexible. That's really something I don't really think of, and as long as I've been talking about Big Rob Terry, I think most of you can agree. Rob Terry is not really one of those flexible type of guys, but we saw him just barely being able to pull out a backflip. What else did this guy do? He was able to do some push-ups with one arm. I even think I might have saw a little leg split. I don't know, but the guy was really rocking it, hitting muscle poses and all. Crowd was loving him. Big Rob Terry, he won unanimously as he just left the ring and left both guys there speechless. Of course, one of the other main storylines of the night, which was a cliffhanger from last week, was Aces and Eights. Just who is this person that they are trying to recruit? And we kept getting a little bit of hints. The guy's young, he's arrogant, but that really wasn't quite enough. Well, it would be revealed tonight to be none other than Mr. Anderson. That's right, Mr. Anderson, who we have not seen since a little bit before the Bound for Glory series, folks. Remember, he did get taken out by Aces and Eights. Now, we did see Anderson return, kind of pushing a new look, had a beard going on, blonde, brownish beard at that, looks pretty haggard. And we see him talking with Devon and the other Aces and Eights members, and he says, I haven't forgotten about our shaky start to our relationship a couple of months back. I'm not really too sure. I'm keen on this, but I am open to listening to you all and hearing what you all have to say. And Devon, he pretty much reveals that Aces and Eights, they have a long-term plan, a long-term goal that they're trying to accomplish in TNA wrestling, and that it's going to be a little bit difficult from time to time. It's going to be pretty physical from time to time, and basically just setting up Mr. Anderson, letting him know what he can expect. And Anderson, he says, okay, well, I like the sound of it, but I need a little bit of time to think about it if it's okay. Let me get back to you. Devon and crew, they say, yeah, no problem. Take the time you need. Yeah, look forward to hearing back from you. So hopefully I would think that we're going to get a follow-up on that next week, or possibly this could be a scenario right here where we see Mr. Anderson maybe kind of stretch this out for a couple of weeks, kind of forcing Devon and Aces and Eights bandmates to get a little hostile with Anderson, to get a straight-up answer from him. But Mr. Anderson finally coming back. I was paying attention to some of the Twitter feeds that you all were saying tonight, as we no longer have Zed that's going to be working the helm on Twitter. Instead, he's going to be refocusing his energy on helping me out with the website over at InfinityOneProductions.com, helping me post more articles up. But the thing that I thought was interesting from what I was seeing from a lot of you people and those of you I had the pleasure of interacting with, y'all, I couldn't agree with you more. You say, you know what, okay, it's good that Mr. Anderson is back, but at the same time, he really needs a new gimmick because we've been getting the same gimmick from Anderson, a.k.a. Mr. Kennedy, since his days in the WWE. It just seems like here is a guy that has had this character now for, God, at least about 7 years almost, or maybe a little bit more, but I'm going to go with 7 years right now. And it just seems like this character has not evolved for anything. And, I think it was JVL, maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin, a couple other guys that really said it best in describing Mr. Anderson, which is he just cannot find that right niche. He's got all these different wrestling personas and in-ring moves going on. You just don't really know what he is. What is he trying to get out there? He's always switching it up. Just confuses the hell out of fans. But the one thing that's always been consistent is his stale gimmick. I'm hoping that maybe with Mr. Anderson being part in Aces and Eights, I think that would be a really great move for him right now. I'm hoping by him being part of this stable that maybe we could see a new mean streak, a new character develop from this. And, it's so funny that we sit up and we're talking about character developments because that gives me just the perfect segue to talk about Daniels and Kazarian. I mean, you want to talk about a really great segment that these two guys had tonight as they were making fun of AJ Styles. And I got to give Kazarian all the props in the world because Kazarian, he did one phenomenal, no pun intended, AJ Styles impersonation that just really had me cracking up and really saying to myself, you know what, Kazarian has just really come a long way. He is really trying his damnedest to break out. And it just seemed like months before he was more inclined to just be behind the shadows, just support Daniels, and not really break out of that comfort zone. But, within the past couple of weeks, and actually when I really think about it and I look back just a couple of months, like maybe 3 months now, I would say, it seems like Kazarian has really been trying to step out more and evolve in a big way. And I love how he's been handling himself. This segment that he had alone was really good, as Daniels had put out there that he knows AJ Styles fans, they're probably a little bit disappointed that AJ Styles isn't really around in TNA wrestling anymore, but he wants to call out AJ Styles one more time for a fight, and he issues the challenge out there for AJ Styles to come out. And we see AJ come out, does a little Mighty Morphin Power Ranger hand gesture, all that, got the pyro going on, hoodie. Looks like it's actually AJ Styles, takes the head off, and as I said, it was Kazarian. Kazarian cutting one great promo saying how basically, oh, Daniels, you're just too good. There's no way I could take you on. Heck, you beat me with my own finisher. Just really hilarious how Kazarian was really nailing AJ Styles. It actually had a few people in the Impact crowd chuckling to themselves. But, we had quickly saw all that showboating and fooling around come to an end as we saw the tag team champions of Hernandez and Chavo Guerrero Jr. challenge them to a tag match, of which we had saw the team of Big Super Mex and Chavo Guerrero pick up the win. But, again, Kazarian, he has really just been coming quite a ways. I love what's happening with him. Just goes to what I was saying earlier. There's one case right there where you got a guy that's really trying to break out. Daniels, I almost forgot. I can't talk about Daniels without mentioning the new catchphrase that he had started tonight, where he said he is the guy with the cute rear that makes the girls cheer. I'm liking that, brother. I think you need to make a T-shirt out of that. I think you need to have some fans make some signs for you for that. Maybe have some girls kind of, have to be able to play off of. You come down to the ring kind of sticking your butt out a little bit. Maybe have a girl kind of poke it like it's sizzling or something like that. I think he's got something going on right there with that whole rear and cheers and girls. I was about to say Deers, but, Deers and Daniel's rear, that's a bad combination right there. But I think he's on to something right there. But, very impressed with how Kazarian and Daniels have been coming along. But more specifically, I'm very, very proud of how Kazarian has been coming along within recent weeks. Hopefully, Mr. Anderson can really take it to that next level. All right, and other matches that we had got tonight, we had saw some knockouts action as Gail Kim had challenged Miss Tessmacher. Now, the way this match had came about, Gail Kim felt that 2012 was really her year and that she hit a little bit of a roadblock known as Miss Tessmacher to end her streak as the current Knockouts champion at the time, and it just seems like she had been in a little bit of a funk ever since, and she was looking to get off to a fresh start with the new year coming, and as a result of that, she had wanted to take on Miss Tessmacher. So there's your setup right there with how that match had came about. And, you know, of the few matches that we had got tonight, again, which wasn't that many, as from what I'm able to recall, we had got a total of 4 matches total. This match was actually one of my favorites. I actually enjoyed this a lot. Now, if you go over to our website, we did give a match rating scale out of a 5-star type of scale. And, you know, I have not seen those numbers. I'm just guessing, you know, not guessing, but I'm just making my own assessment of how I enjoyed that match specifically, as well as the other matches that we had saw tonight. I would have to give Gail Kim versus Ms. Tessmacher a honest 4 out of 5. I really had enjoyed that match. It got a nice TV time, enough time for them to really tell a good story in that ring and really kind of get behind. I love the stink face that Gail Kim had gave to Miss Tessmacher. I mean, Tessmacher's face was just all up in between that rear. Some really, if there was ever a time for some guys to sit up and say, man, how I wish I could be in that position, that was the moment right there, because that was some good stuff. Gail Kim, though, picking up the victory. We saw Kenny King that thought he was going to be able to get an opportunity to take on Rob Van Dam as he was confiding in Christian York. As we see past couple of weeks now, Kenny King, he's continuing to try to push those envelopes, getting to the head of RVD as he's looking to take away that X Division title that RVD has. Well, RVD, surprisingly, he did not call out Kenny King. Instead, he called out Christian York. And those two guys, they actually had a really great match. The thing is with that match, and I think many of you can agree, it was way too short. You know, you really couldn't get behind it. It was one of those type of matches you're like, oh, yeah, this is going to be good. By the time you sit down and you have your thing of soda and your bag of popcorn, the match was over, unfortunately. And I was really bummed out by it because I was really expecting a little bit more from this match. But from just a little bit that I saw, it was one of those type of matches that had me go, you know what, I really hope TNA can put these two guys back together and let them have some more matches because they could really have something going right there if it's handled right. Two unique styles, my God, that's like 5-star quality type of matches. But, again, it was only a tease we got tonight. Now, we did see Rob Van Dam pick up the victory over Christian York. You know, little bone I got to pick with that. I hope this doesn't continue to happen for Christian York going into the new year. It seems like ever since he won the TNA Gut Check contract, a few times he's been popping up on Impact, he's been losing his matches. I would like to see him start building some type of a win streak. All right, and we had got in our main event match. Yes, we're already at our main event match, and if you've been keeping track, we pretty much had only got 4 matches of the night. Our main event match was Bobby Roode taking on Austin Aries. Remember, this was just a straight-up singles match, had nothing to do with number 1 contender spot, nothing like that. This was just a straight-up open fight challenge that Austin Aries sent out to Bobby Roode, trying to just nip this in the bud once and for all. This was my second favorite match of the night, And it was one of those type of matches I actually had kicked back, and as soon as I'm seeing these two guys wrestle, I'm saying to myself, man, this is like the first time since Hardcore Justice that we're getting these two guys in a singles match. All right, so we should be able to live up to what they had, did at the Hardcore Justice pay-per-view and at Destination X, right? Well, this match, it was good in its own way, but it came up short from what they did at Hardcore Justice and what they did at Destination X. For those of you that weren't able to watch it tonight and you're a little bit curious, you really didn't miss anything right here. But it was still one of the best matches of the night. It was one of those matches that it was really about the shenanigans that was playing out in this contest. And when I say shenanigans, towards the end of the match, we see that both guys, they decide they want to go for a steel chair. Referee Earl Hebner, he gets involved. He's like, no, this isn't going to happen. And one of the guys, they actually take out Earl Hebner. They're like, the hell, you're not going to tell us what we can and can't do. This is between us. And we see all control just break out. And it was kind of funny because we see for a brief moment Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, they're actually on the same page, and they're looking at each other like, yeah, we did a pretty damn good job. All right, so now what? And we see both of them race for the steel chair, and we're like, okay, this is getting kind of interesting here. Now what's going to happen? But remember, for those of you that didn't catch the show at the very beginning, as we came on the air, we were covering those last few seconds of the show. We did see Jeff Hardy, who continues to have voices speak out loud and just magically make its way into the airwaves where we can hear. And quite honestly, I'm a little bit stunned by that because, honestly, if I got a guy that's standing next to me and I can hear his thoughts and his mouth isn't moving, I'm saying to myself, dude, you are either one hell of a ventriloquist or you are just totally creepy. I need to back away from you. And I mean, quite honestly, I think it would have been a nice little personal touch. I don't know about you guys, but I thought it would have been a really nice personal touch had they showed that segment with Jeff Hardy and you hear what's on its mind. It would have been nice to kind of see a couple of fans kind of back away from him like, well, God, I can hear what he's saying. I just thought that would have been a nice, funny touch. But Jeff Hardy, he did get involved in this match, and he laid out both guys. And this is really the way it is being set up right now. It is really looking like what I had said 2-3 weeks ago, that this is ultimately going to be a setup where you're going to have to put Jeff Hardy, Austin Aries, Bobby Roode in a triple threat match for the TNA title. Now, could that happen as early as the Genesis pay-per-view? I mean, honestly, they got the ingredients there. They might as well pull the trigger and go for it, as surprisingly, we still haven't had a couple of matches be announced just yet. So I'm very curious to see what's going to be happening for next week's Impact Wrestling, as we now have to start making that build for the Genesis pay-per-view. And for those of you that are kind of like, yeah, when is the Genesis pay-per-view? Let me pull that up for you right now. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's going to be happening on January 19th. Don't quote me on that. I'm actually looking at my TNA calendar right now, so bear with me 1 second. 3 seconds, and I got it for you. Yeah, it's going to actually be happening sooner than that. It's going to be coming up on January 13th. So if there was ever a time to really start pushing some matches, like, now's the time to start putting it out there. So definitely I would expect next week on Impact Wrestling Live, they're going to start announcing some matches. They're going to need to. But, overall, they did a pretty good job tonight pushing those main storylines out there, the Aces and Eights, what's going on with Brooke Hogan, Bully Ray there, as now they're trying to please Big Daddy Hogan, trying to make sure that he's cool, but that's not going to be the case, as he can't stand Bully Ray right now. And, of course, next week we got some really great highlights for Impact Live, as TNA is going to be revealing the Wrestler of the Year We're going to see Aces and Nates take on Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle in a tag match. And, of course, it's the return of the icon, Sting. And we saw a little bit more information there from those video promos, as Sting had revealed that he's coming for the Aces and Nates. He's coming for Devon. He's coming for Doc, and Doc is one of the first people that he wants to get his hands on. Sting fans, I know you guys are pretty excited, especially knowing that it looks like he's definitely not going to be going over to the WWE. I know you guys are probably patting yourselves on the back on that one right now. But so it looks like it's shaping up to be a pretty solid episode of Impact Wrestling for the new year. I would hope, though, that we get the returns of Matt Morgan, Joey Ryan. You know, it seems like past couple of weeks there, it's been kind of off and on there with those guys. If I'm not mistaken, this is the second week in a row that we didn't see Matt Morgan and Joey Ryan. I could be mistaken, but if my memory serves correctly, it's 2 weeks now that we haven't gotten them. Looked like Madison Rayne had returned, but quickly she's gone. ODB gone once again. I would like to see a little bit more consistency there in the talent that they have going into the new year. Overall, though, a pretty solid episode of Impact Wrestling. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Those of you that have comments or questions in the chat room, we'll read some of them as you're on the line. As I know from the last time we were on the air to now, some of you have put some questions out there on Twitter. But we'll come right back. We'll go through a little bit of that. I'll give you some quick programming notes as we have a really huge announcement or two that's going to be coming in 2013. So we'll let you guys know all about that and let you know what we got planned for this weekend. As guys, it's Extreme Reunion, a.k.a. Extreme Rising. Give you the 411 on that. So kick on back. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. You're listening to Impact Showdown Radio coming at you live right now on December 27, 2012. We'll be coming right back, folks. Do hang tight.
Thank you for listening to tonight's episode. If you enjoyed our coverage of the TNA Wrestling, then be sure to check out Impact Showdown Radio every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on blogtalkradio.com and at our sister website at InfinityOneProductions.com for all the latest fallout from Impact Wrestling with the latest in TNA-related news and great live fan reactions. Tired of those wrestling websites that give you redirects, spyware, weird pop-ups? How about those misleading headlines? Instead of hitting the keyboard in frustration, why not visit InfinityOneProductions.com? Infinity One is the source for wrestling-related news and so much more without all the hassle. Visit InfinityOneProductions.com. Your keyboard will thank you.
Hey guys, the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders here. Hey, by chance, are you going to miss your favorite episodes of the RCWR Show and Impact Showdown Radio as they're live in progress? Hey, that's not a problem. All you got to do is download the free podcast app in the iTunes store, and you'll be able to take all our episodes with you as you're on the move. That's right. Download it. Just search podcast in the iTunes store. It's a free app. Download it. And then from there, just search for our shows by typing in the keywords, the RCWR Show. And then you'll be able to subscribe. It's as easy as that. So check that out, and you'll be able to play all our episodes on your iPad, on your iTouch, iPod, all smartphone, mobile phones, all portable devices. Also, if you haven't checked out the Stitcher app already, highly recommend that you check that out as well, as that's another way you can check out our episodes, especially if you are always on the go. Stitcher, new and smart way to play internet radio.
right, and we're back. Black Avenger, a.k.a. the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders with you all for Impact Showdown Radio, coming at you live right now on blogtalkradio.com. So, we were off the air for a couple of days. We were going to do a Tuesday episode, but I got bombarded by my girlfriend and family. Once they found out I was trying to do a show on Tuesday, they said, boy, you know damn well it's Christmas. The wrestling fans will be all right. They'll be all right for one day or two. Let them be. We got some kick-ass gifts for you anyway. I said, okay, cool. And I'm glad I took that off because I was really feeling a bit burned out. And, I just want to take this time out to really give a heartfelt thank you to you, the listeners, because, we had broke the news on Monday that we weren't going to be opening up the phone lines on a weekly basis. And a lot of you were like, oh, well, what's going to be happening now? How are you going to make up for that? What's the new strategy? And basically what we're going to be doing from here on out, we're going to open the phone lines for every single WWE TNA pay-per-view, also special pay-per-views that might be coming about from indie wrestling promotions. We'll also open up the phone lines for special occasion episodes. So, take, for instance, you got Sting that's going to be popping up on Impact Wrestling next Thursday. Well, 9 times out of 10, we're going to be opening up the phone lines on next Thursday's Impact Showdown Radio. Another good example, we got The Rock that's scheduled to come back to WWE Raw on January 7th. We're going to be opening up the phone lines on that episode, get you all's reaction. So, you kind of have an idea of when we're going to be opening up the phone lines. And, it kind of met a little bit of backlash from a couple of listeners and, one specific listener, in a nutshell, the best advice I can give to him, he needs to figure out if he's really a wrestling fan or if he's trying to cover the sport. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I think those of you, if you're able to read it between those lines, you'll kind of know what I'm getting at with that. But that's what we're going to be doing. And we got some pretty big things that's going to be planned for you guys in 2013. As, right now, I'm at a point right now, I've been doing the shows for a year. And I'm kind of getting just a little bit burned out because we hammer out 3, 4, 5 shows, and then we do a bunch of YouTube exclusives. And I'm the main guy just driving everything. I'm running the website with my staff, so I'm doing a lot of multitasking. And, it was bound to happen. I was bound to get a little burned out. So the shows are going to start being a little bit shorter. And when I say shorter, I don't mean I'm only going to be on the air for a half hour. The shows, the goal is to Tuesday, Thursday nights, the goal is to make it be 45 minutes, 60 minutes tops. Our weekend editions, whenever we do those on Saturdays, we'll do 90 minutes, and that's the absolute max. But the main goal is to try to cut back a little bit to keep me from getting burned out. But I'm talking to a couple of people that are interested in seeing if maybe they could be my co-hosts. So if things work out really good with those guys, then, it could be a case where, maybe I can entertain the idea of having the shows go a little longer, or it puts me in a really good spot where if I want to take the night off, I'm not feeling good, I can do that. And, we got some big things planned in 2013 as we got a very kick-ass special guest that's going to be coming by. You may know him. He actually used to be one of the correspondents for the Pro Wrestling Report, Diamond K. He also used to be co-host for Sudden Impact Radio. He's actually a Maryland native, and he's actually going to be helping me out. We're going to be covering the fallout from The Rock's return on January 7th. And we'll have the phone lines open, all that. And it's really the beginning of a good, healthy relationship with Diamond K, as from time to time he'll be coming on our shows, and from time to time I'll be coming on to his shows. So it's a really great collaboration. And, one of the main goals I wanted going into 2013 is, 2013 needs to really be about reaching out to great personalities, great minds that cover the sport of professional wrestling and get their take. It's really about reaching out more to other guys on really kick-ass shows to, really have a great roundtable discussion. So we really hope that you'll enjoy that. Of course, we'll remind you again as the time draws a little more closer, but we're going to be doing that. Also, something that I have in the works, we're going to try to see if maybe we could do something once every other month on Google Hangout where for a whole hour we will just have an open forum. You'll be able to interact with me, and when I mean you'll be able to interact with me, you'll actually be able to see me. You'll actually be able to talk with me. We could try a little experiment. We could have you, the wrestling fans, do a little Google video hangout, and, you can just pick my brain and just ask me a bunch of questions. We'll just shoot around, kind of like we're old buddies, just catching up on good times. So you'll enjoy that, and you won't miss that. We'll put the day and time out there. I'm still trying to work out the last little bit of stuff, but we're going to give you guys enough time to be able to join us for that episode when we get ready to do the little Google Hangout. So there's just a couple of new things that we're trying out in 2013. So, even though we're not opening up the phone lines on a regular basis, we're making up for it in a huge way, I think. And I think most of you that's been checking out our show for a minute, I think those of you would agree 2013 sounds like we're off to a really great start. So it's going to be a good ride. So make sure that you join us for that. And Concrete Jackson, Google Plus, is the same thing. If you already have a Google account, then you're pretty much already there. I know there's a way you can join Google video conferences. Don't worry, we'll actually give you the full one on that. I just know I saw a really cool feature of that being showcased. There's a guy by the name of Adam Sassler. He used to be the host of G4's X-Play, and he's now doing some stuff for Rev3 Games. And I saw him do a really great video conference with gamers, and I was just really amazed at the whole interaction process. I thought it was really something very interesting, and we definitely want to try that with you guys. As we know, there's a lot of you wrestling fans out there that want to, share your thoughts, share your opinions, and, even though we're cutting back a little bit, I think that's really a good way to kind of make up for you guys. So as more information comes out, we'll hook you up with that, let you know what all you need to do to be able to gain access to that. If you might need to download anything, we'll give you the whole 411, make sure that you all are set up for that, all right? All right, so let's go on ahead and let's talk about some very brief TNA wrestling-related news. I got a little bit for you all. Not really too much has been happening since last we were on the air, given the holiday and all. But one of the things that I want to talk about that jumps out there at me, for those of you that are looking to catch TNA Impact in your neck of the woods, they're going to be coming to the New York area. More specifically, they're going to be coming to Poughkeepsie, I'm trying very hard to pronounce that, Albany, New York, to basically in 2012, and it looks like they're going to be going to Maryland and Philadelphia to kick off 2013. Now, December 29th, which is going to be this Saturday, you can catch them in Poughkeepsie, New York, as they'll host a world tour event. It's going to be at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center at 7:30 p.m. Tickets already on sale right now, okay? If you get there early, you'll actually be able to take part in an autograph signing with actual TNA superstars at 5:30 p.m. And it looks like you'll be able to meet Jeff Hardy and Tara before the event. And it looks like that is going to be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. that you'll be able to meet and greet Jeff Hardy and Tara, okay? Again, that's going to be in Poughkeepsie, New York. Also on December 30th, looks like there's going to be some early entry autograph sessions. It's going to be at 5:30 p.m. And doors will be opening at 6:30. Showtime is going to be at 7:30 p.m. Superstars that's set to appear is going to be Jeff Hardy, Austin Aries, Bully Ray, Daniels, Devon, James Storm, Hernandez, Rob Terry, Robbie E., Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe, Chavo Guerrero. All right, and looks like in Maryland, it's going to be kicking off in January 4th, Salisbury, Maryland. Same lineup, card's not going to change. And January 5th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Looks like one of the main highlights of that is going to be a steel cage match for the TNA World Heavyweight title, as Jeff Hardy will be taking on Austin Aries and Bobby Roode in a triple threat match. So you know what? This could possibly be a taste of things to come for the actual Genesis pay-per-view. Maybe they might be working out some kinks right here. This would be the place to do that. All right. Also, I got some news for you guys for the TNA Impact numbers from last week's episode. Impact ratings, it goes as follows. Last week had scored an average of 1.27 million viewers, as the episode had pulled in a general overall rating of 0.99. Now, that's just slightly up from the week prior, as it makes it the fourth consecutive show now where the show hasn't been able to average that 1.0 rating. Not really too bad, considering the holidays and all. And in case you might have missed it, Kurt Angle, he did reach a settlement with Wafi Wadini. Now, we had first announced this on our weekend edition of the RCWR show, but in case you didn't check that out, he did squash that. For those of you that may not recall, back in November, Kurt Angle had went after a man by the name of Wafi Wadini on Twitter, saying that he had screwed him out of a total of $35,000. And I'm not going to read you guys those tweets, although it is hilarious. But in a nutshell, Wafi Wadini, he was supposed to make Kurt Angle a fitness app, and he did not deliver by a specific date. And looks like he had just took off, disappeared, and Kurt Angle had tried to file criminal civil charges on him, try to take him to court. But again, it looks like they've reached a settlement with him, as Kurt Angle did announce on Twitter that he reached a legal settlement with Mr. Wahadini. Try saying that 10 times fast, guys. It looks like there is a update possibly on some new TNA new programming, as the TNA Director of Travel, Bob Ryder, had revealed on his official Twitter account some information on new programming. TNA previously announced on their TNA Genesis 13 pay-per-view press release, as Ryder wrote, direct quotes here, more info of the programming being taped January 12th as part of the Genesis VIP weekend. One session will feature 7 tag team matches and a gauntlet. The other session, being taped on January 12th, focuses on X Division action and will feature an escape cage match and an Ultimate X match. So you hardcore TNA wrestling fans, y'all should be pretty pleased by that. And by the way, TNA, they won the PWI award for Feud and Comeback of the Year. That's right, Pro Wrestling Illustrated. They revealed the winners for their annual PWI awards for 2012. TNA won Feud of the Year and Comeback of the Year, as the Feud of the Year for TNA was TNA versus Aces and Eights. And for Comeback of the Year, that goes to Jeff Hardy. Now, if you're curious who were the runner-ups for those respective categories for Feud of the Year, runner-ups were The Rock versus John Cena, CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan, Colt Cabana versus Adam Pearce. For your Comeback of the Year runner-ups, it's The Rock, Brock Lesnar, Layla. I'm not sure how Layla got in there. I don't really think that's a comeback. I don't know about you guys. But, yeah, okay. Anyway, let's see. What other TNA wrestling news I got for you guys? I don't know if you guys saw it. We posted it on our Facebook page, but there's a trailer for Tara's new documentary called Terrified. And Diva Dirt, pretty good site. I like them. They had unveiled an exclusive trailer for Tara's new movie. It's basically a documentary chronicling the career of the TNA Knockouts champion, and they're highlighting the fact that she has a career spanning over a decade, and she's had 7 major singles championships under her belt, talking about how she's one of the most successful female wrestlers in North America, as she's respected by her fans, critics, peers, 40 years old plus, and she is still going at it. And it looks like the film is still ongoing. It's going to be continuing in January. It looks like it's going to be, looks like a cut of the documentary from what I'm able to gather. It's going to be shown at various film festivals, but the film is still ongoing, so they're still taping some parts. But again, you can see the trailer for it. We got the link up at our Facebook page, so check that out. And other than that, only other TNA wrestling-related news I have for you guys is it looks like TNA previously was providing Sky Dutchland free programming in hopes that it would expose the product in the European market, same way that WWE did, as they did pretty successful out there. And there's a report going around that says TNA would like to work with Sky on pay-per-view events to make money on the deal in hopes that it would lead to a strong attendance at events held in that respective region. Should be noted, though, however, that TNA pay-per-view events only draw a few hundred buys, and attempts to run live events in those markets could equal large disappointments. TNA, they made the call to let the contract expire, and we're hoping to shop the programming to another provider in the countries. Sky was described as not being happy with the deal and looked at TNA as a low-rated television show with no upside. Now, it should be noted, though, that this report is directly contradicted by TNA's most recent public announcement on their official German Facebook page, asking fans that were disappointed with the announcement that they should contact Sky Dutchland directly. This refutes claims made by that TNA officials simply allowed the contract to expire and were looking to shop the programming on other networks. This also indicates that as of the last, at least 2 weeks ago, the sides were still in some form of negotiation. So really, take that information with what you're hearing right now, just take that with a grain of salt. So a little bit more is concrete. You know how we do it over here. We give you the information, and we always try to tell you to have a very open mind, because what you might hear might not be the actual thing. There might be a little bit more to that story. So as I always like to say, wait until you hear a little bit more information come out before jumping all over it, okay? All right, and I got some programming notes for you guys. Make sure that you join us this Saturday for the RCWR Show Weekend Edition. We're going to have some really good kick-ass reviews. I'm going to have a real brutal, honest review of a demo that I came across, and I know these guys are going to be listening to it because I already put them on the spot. So I know they're going to be listening to the show very carefully, but I have a review for you guys for a video game that I came across. I downloaded the demo, and it's called Pro Wrestling Uprising. I'm going to give you guys an honest review of that. It's not the full game. It's just a demo right now. I'm going to give you my first impressions, as I'm actually taking part in the beta process to really try to help get the game up to where it really needs to be. So I give you an honest review on that, and we got some other cool kick-ass reviews. We'll also get you guys caught up on the very latest in WWE TNA wrestling-related news. Also, best part about that weekend edition, we're also going to take a look at what worked for WWE this year as we do a year-in review. I'll let you guys know what worked, what didn't work for them, what they need to do going forward. For you guys that might have missed our TNA year-end review, just go backtrack to our archive section on blogtalkradio.com/the RCWR show, and you'll actually be able to pull up the last weekend edition of the RCWR show where great discussion was covered on TNA going forward. Some really great stuff. And for those of you that are hardcore ECW fans or you just appreciated ECW, you know that there's going to be a Extreme Rising event that's going to be happening this Saturday where one of the main highlight matches is going to be Matt Hardy taking on Sabu. Now, of course, New Jack, he was supposed to be involved in a match, but looks like due to some personal health problems, he's been pulled. So still, it's going to look like it's going to be a pretty solid card. We're actually going to be having a very special episode of the RCWR Post Show airing Sunday night at 12 a.m. So for those of you that's kind of scratching your head, basically the beginning of Sunday, 12 a.m., we'll have that special post show for you guys, and we'll actually cover the fallout from that event. And if you happen to see the event, you're more than welcome to call into the show. We will take phone calls for that post-show cover in that respective pay-per-view. Hey, we might be going off the air for a little bit, but the talk of wrestling, it does not end here. Be sure to check us out at our website at InfinityOneProductions.com, where we cover so much more than wrestling-related news. Also, subscribe to us in the iTunes Zoom Marketplaces using the keywords, the RCWR Show. And one other note, I want to just send a big special thank you to all of you, the listeners, for checking out the YouTube exclusive that's now going to be ongoing as we had covered the fallout from WWE Raw. Such a great success. We're going to continue to do that. But also, I wanted to thank you guys for checking out last weekend's RCWR show report, as quickly made that be one of our most listened to and downloaded episodes of the weekend, even right on up into tonight. So thank you very humbly for that. That's going to do it, guys. I hope you have a very solid weekend. Do join us this Saturday. And until I hear from you guys, I hope y'all had a very Merry Christmas and y'all are ready for the new year. Be safe. Be kind to one another, folks. We'll see you next time. Take care.